Welcome to American Dream Live, where we keep exploring how to grow your beliefs and become a united human being. And why it's so important in today's world, you might say, well, there is a lot of disconnect, and more than ever, to that's the reason to start growing the beliefs and become more conscious what is going on around us and making a different confident choices to experience a different reality, to really truly live your American dream. And today I have a topic, how to be polished. And I was considering and thinking and tuning to it if it's something to do with nationality. And every time I see around that word, because I am Polish, it sounds like it has something to do with it. However, it's not so much about the nationality, it's more about polishing and shining, I should say, possibly even a better word with it, but that one doesn't start with P. to to really uh, shine your light and not so much worry about the outside polishing, because that's another thing, and that's what I keep bringing with those broadcasts here, that many times there is some limitation in the thinking, limited thoughts when that word can think that it's just so much taking care of the outside to look polished. And I kind of polish my hair, and I put some lipstick to polish myself to look good from the outside. And it does help many times, especially for women, when you feel better, when you put some makeup, when you have a new hairdo, when you put a nice clothes, when you put some jewelry. And but does that really matter? How really lasting that polishing is, and other than having a real thing, having the lasting thing, that it doesn't matter if I'm wearing a makeup, if I have a nice hairdo or not, or I have a nice clothes or not, that I feel polished. I feel actually at home, that it doesn't really matter so much what is outside and who I'm like showing that off to somebody, as long as I am actually true to myself and more authentic with myself. And that's what seems to be more popular as well. People looking and promoting that the authenticity is a new thing. So let's explore some more, and with some actually interesting story. When I somehow brought that word, I didn't even know what was going on, that I was actually going through the experiment and a challenge to see how that actually looking like, and how can go a little bit deeper to somehow learning what the true meaning of be polished, not so much do polishing, like we keep exploring here. Just that simple shift can make a difference. And that difference can be actually made with some three things that whatever experience I just had brought me to understand and realize with that. And I will share a bit of the bits and pieces of that experience. But before that, I will just share those three words, which are humble, courage, and love. And I will, based on the story, kind of explain where where those words fit in that story with whatever I experienced recently. The story was with how another person can actually be blinded to be to want to be that kind of polish and having that outside appearance, and not necessarily knowing how it projecting to others some of the insecurities, some demands, and how that kind of is received and kind of questioned by the other person. I was a recipient of that, and I don't want to disclose too much information with it. And that was very interesting experience from the perspective that somehow felt hurtful, and also felt that it's this time it's not something for me to give somebody of my peace of mind, which would feel possibly much better, but actually to observe what is really going on there and decide to make a choice. Do I want to be an active participant in it or not? And then in order to be that in observant is really taking a step back, because many times when something is hurtful, when we somehow feeling trigger, and many times it's that it's very easy to lose the perspective and getting into that many times flight. There's some fight or flight, I should say. And for some reason, in my nature, many times it's more of that fight than the flight. And this time was more of not really a flight, but just we're not flying, we're not fighting, and just observing what is going on to see a bigger picture and see that it wasn't so much about what I was feeling, but about how that person being feeling that they're so kind of polished from the outside, how they can affect other people, and how with some kind of neutral points, how that can affect and how to look not so much from their perspective, but to look what their kind of actions they taking. And so for me was those words, like I had mentioned, to share those words, the humble is that humbleness coming, that understanding that it wasn't about me, so I wasn't fighting or flying from that, but really taking a look and seeing a bigger picture, the courage to let go of want to be right, and let go of that, and having that courage to stay in that, and be in observant mode, and love myself enough to really want a true thing. And that was for me really showing, and that's probably the biggest point I was getting from that experience. Really, do I love myself enough to allowing those kind of situations? And there were plenty of them, and that's what actually that experience brought me to, because it felt like really a triggering one. And I asked even my hubby to for listening, and that's what kind of brought me that there were more of those kind of experiences, and that helped me kind of understand from that we're not that we actually will be humble in this moment, courage to stay in that moment, and love enough ourselves to make a decision and make a choice. Do I really want to continue with some relations like that when people are lacking some respect, and is it really worth it doing that? And doing, like, giving them, for example, peace of mind when they so limited in their world that they won't even understand if I even try. They coming possibly from their own hurt, and not enough open, and not enough humble, and having courage and love themselves enough to see what is really going on, that they actually acting from that limitation, that possibly we were hurt before. So from that wall of, like, yeah, I will not allow to hurt to be hurt again, so I will be closed off, and I will be demanding from others, and I will be that polished from the outside, and really distressed and in turmoil inside. And that's that's kind of that difference, having that funny thing or having a real thing. And I think the real thing is coming again from that humbleness, the courage to let go of being right and having love to really want a real thing and making a different choices when you in those kind of relations, to make a decision, how much of that to allow. Is it a point to just actually stop, and is it worth to having conversation around it, or just really completely letting go of that? So I will leave you to making those choices. It's not up to me to do. I still have the choice to make. It really feeling good when I thinking of like just letting go completely, and just close that chapter in that relation, how that will, with my soft heart, how that will reveal itself. Will there be some space to love myself enough for having true thing and taking a chance, and possibly uh, seeing if there's a potential for some clarity conversation in that relation, or not, and we shall see how that will work out. So that's what I want to share. It's kind of an interesting topic that was revealed, and I thought that there's some definitely value to share, and I trust that I share how that shift in that perspective of the outside polishing, and shining to really shining from within to the outside can make a difference with being humble, having courage, and loving, love, especially loving yourself, to want the really true shine, and a real thing. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining, and whoever will be checking the replay. And thank you. Please let me know what resonates with that message. If you potentially had similar stories or maybe different around it, and how that message is landing. It's the broadcast is streamed at the through the StreamYard at American Dream Live Facebook group, private community, as well as the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, it's easier to share when the message resonates and you wanted to share that with someone that potentially experienced similar stories, or that's something that will resonate, that needed to hear that message. From the private community, Facebook community is a great place to see more interaction. I attempt to go there daily to create some inspiration, and posting some shifts, and some humor there on a daily basis. On the YouTube, I'm showing up on just weekly basis. We came back in August, second week, to the regular schedule on Thursdays at afternoon at 4:15 Mountain Standard Time. We at the same as Pacific at the moment, until a fall time, and we don't change time. We just telling people that will be easier so they're not confused, because there is a mountain daylight time, which actually an hour ahead at the moment. So that's why I'm saying Pacific at the moment, the same as Pacific. So that making a difference, and in time, and those things are scheduled ahead, so you see what is the topic and what time. So potentially it's showing for you whatever time you are in, or you can calculate based on the display of the time, and can join live. And I'm also appreciate when you can check it out later. That's why I'm recording that, so that message is there and you can check at your convenience. And I think that's about it for some logistical things. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel to get those notifications. That notification is also posted ahead of time in the Facebook group. So without further ado, stay tuned for the new notification for next week. Let's hope that that time will, we can keep the time for next week to around the same. And so excited to see what will be revealed for the next week. And at this moment, sending you lots of love, joy, and peace. Until next time, take care.